courtesy of the news, coming live in the spirit. It's WFI Los Angeles, man. Hey, we at that time. And we're going to constantly shake the hand. We're going to constantly prophesy. And we're going to constantly say we are in the last days until we see the final end, man. This the final end. You got different stages of the last days as well, man. You got the beginning stages of the last days. You got the middle stages of the last days. And then you got the final end of the last days. And then you got destruction, man. So I wanted to kind of get on that, man. The fact that we are in the midst of birth pains, right? And I'm going to throw a few precepts out of birth pains, right? So you see this devil Benjamin, you're not a Jew, because that's really what he is, not a Jew. He's constantly, on the news, of course, and he's on the news based upon all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East, man. He's causing havoc. All right, he's causing civil unrest and havoc among the Middle East. Right now, that's just one area and one section of the world. Then we have it, which everybody know at this point, the political assassination. Right? Then we got animals like deers and rabbits, things that dwell in the forest, with specific weird viruses that's causing tumors to come all through their body with tentacles and weird stuff, right? To the point where you wouldn't dare to eat nothing like that, even if you were to hunt for some meat. So these are the birth pains of the Lord, man. Right? These are the birth pains of the Lord, and this is what we're going to discuss about through the spirit of Mashiach Hamalak Yahushai, man. All right, like I said, many prophets of the Lord, servants of the Most High, already put their 2 cents in on the situation that happened yesterday, and a lot of people don't know it was another situation that happened in the midst of Kirk getting assassinated. There was a shooting. There was a mass shooting in the school as well. We're gonna get on that. That was kind of under a bus because, potentially, the situation that happened with the other devil, of course, that was going to override any other situation that came about that same day. So shalom to all my brothers out there and sisters through the spirit, man. All right, through the spirit of the Lord. So let's get into it, man. So birth pains. What are birth pains? All right, what are birth pains? What do birth pains do? Birth pains, which only women can experience due to the curse of Eve, because the curse of Eve, you get into the book of Genesis, it says that you will be in pain during deliverance, right? So bring that out real quick. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 3. Birth pains. This is what we're dealing with, man. This is what we're seeing in our very eyes today is birth pains. Stages of anguish, pain. Right? This is Genesis chapter 3 and 16. Unto the woman he says, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Right? So after the curse of Adam and Eve, after the fall of men, after the fall of the sons of God, potentially one of the woman's main curse was, pregnancy through pain, man. Sorrow, anguish. Right? And the Lord equates that pain, sorrow, and anguish with the prophecies of the Lord, man. Right? Because the prophecies of the Most High are going to be similar to those very stages that a woman has to go through. One stage, deliverance. One stage before deliverance. 2 stages before deliverance. 3 stages before deliverance. Sisters know the deal, man. All right. So, We're going to play this devil real quick. But first, like I say, I want to throw some precepts out based upon these birth pains, man. Let me see if I can put it on the screen. All right. So we got right here birth pains, right? Let's go to Isaiah 66. And let's read verse 6. These are some of the scriptures that's dealing with birth pains, because that's what we're dealing with today. That's what we've been dealing with. Ever since Yahushua died, resurrected, and went back to the Father, and is taking the order of Melchizedek, king and priest, praying for the saints day and night, ready to reveal himself in the time that the Father releases him. But until that time, we going through birth pains, man. From that time to now, it's been birth pains. And it's just getting more, the stages is getting more intensified through the Spirit. Salaki. So look at this. Let's start at 6. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, and verse 66 and verse 6. It says, hear thy uproar from the city. Hear thy noise from the temple. Is it the Lord? Is it the sound of the Lord repaying his enemies all they deserve? Right? Is that the sound of the Lord when you see a damn Edomite get assassinated? Is that the sound of the Lord when you see animals with tumors all over their bodies? That because hey, even the animals is defiled in this land, man. Did the Lord tell the children of Israel to kill everything of their enemies, even the animals? Because why? Everything that deals with these heathen nations is defiled as the heathens, man. Before she goes into labor, what labor is she talking about? So now he's referring to a woman being in labor. Is he talking about a woman going to work? You know, and putting heavy construction jeans on and steel-toe boots and the helmets. No, it's not work. That's man work. But woman work in the labor that he's going into is birth pains. Let's keep reading. Verse 7. It says, before she goes into labor, she gives birth. Before the pain comes upon her, she delivers. She delivers a son. Who has ever heard of such a thing? Who has ever seen things like this? Can a country be born in a day, or a nation be brought forth in a moment? Yet no sooner is Zion in labor, then she gives birth to her children. Do I bring to the moment of birth and not give delivery, says the Lord? Do I close up the womb? It says, when I bring to delivery, say your Yahweh, rejoice with Jerusalem and be glad for her. All you who love her, rejoice greatly with her. All you who mourn over her, for you will nurse and be satisfied at her comforting breasts. All praise to the Most High, man. So we clearly see the birth pains of the Lord, man. We clearly see through the precepts and the understanding the birth pains of the Lord and where we dwell at. We dwell in the birth pains of the Lord, man. It's getting, like I said, it's getting intensified. I'm gonna pull a few more precepts that's based upon birth pains. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Right? Because you gotta think about it. The sister water breaks. She goes through stages of pain, and it just gets intensified the closer she get to it. What does that mean to us in the spirit? The more it gets intensified, the more we're getting close to it. Getting close to what? The deliverance of Yahweh Shai, man. The deliverance of Yahweh Shai coming to deliver the nation of Israel, man, and the world. You don't think the earth need deliverance? Absolutely. You don't think the animals need deliverance? Once we get delivered, all things get delivered, man, into the status that it needs to be. The finite mind of the Lord and the true purpose of the Most High is to put everything back in order with the Israelites on top of everything, man. In righteousness. Right? We ain't talking about wickedness. We ain't talking about carnality. We talking about righteousness, man. Ruling the earth in righteousness. Right? With the, the letter of the law in our inward parts that we won't be able to sin. We'll be gods upon the earth, judging rightly. Putting the enemy in subjugation for all the things that they did in this earth. Right? Putting everything back in order. It's going to be a work. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. See that? So we constantly seeing the same flotation of birth pains, woman in birth pains, woman in travail, woman in birth pain. Why does the Lord keep saying that from the Old Testament to the New? Let's bring some more out. It's the book of John. Let's go to the book of John real quick, man. All right, so birth pains is definitely important to understand because this is what we're going through, man. It's a lot of stuff going on this earth, man. It's so much stuff that's going on all at the same time. It's almost like a Job effect. You can't keep up with it, right? When all hell broke loose on Job, he couldn't keep up with it. One thing happened after another. One thing happened after another, man. It's the same things through the Spirit. So let's keep going. This is the book of John, chapter 16 and verse 22. Well, let's start at verse 20 through the Spirit. It's the book of John, chapter 16 and verse 20. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. If you were Israelite, this world is a bitter soul. This world is a bitter sweet to your soul, man. Right? It's sweet with the temptations thereof, but it's bitter to the soul, man. Right? It promotes the flesh, the exaltation of the flesh, but it's a bitterness unto the soul, man. It says, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy, man. So if we endure unto the end, as the scripture says, in whence salvation will be unto us, if we do so, hey, the Bible said we're going to rejoice. It's going to be like a dream. We're not even going to believe that the stuff that we experienced all these years and decades, centuries, millenniums, it's going to be like as a dream. That nightmare is going to be just a breath of wind. And in reverse, when we see the glory, the beauties, the covenants, the keeping of when we see these beautiful things, the 12 gates, it's going to be as a dream, a good one. Right? Deuteronomy 28 has been a nightmare living it out. But pretty soon we're going to see something that our eyes, and as the scripture says, eye has not seen, ears has not heard, nor has entered into the heart of man the things that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has for those that love him, man. We can't even imagine it. There's no AI pictogram that can framework the things that the Lord has prepared and have in his mind, man. All right, so let's keep reading. Verse 21. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the anguish for the joy that a man is born into the world. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart will rejoice, and your joy no man takes from you. Right? So we got to keep our joy. This is the birth pains of the Lord. Prophecies of the Lord is being made manifest on purpose, man. It's a lot of this. We in a dangerous world on purpose. All right. As soon as you step into the reality that you are Israelite, and you in a dangerous world, and you know it. Everybody got Esau's blessing, right? Wild men, cowboys. See that? So let's continue, man. We're gonna get onto these prophecies through the Spirit, like I said, man. Birth pains, stages, up until the final end, when the Most High sends forth His Son to crack open the sky, which will be considered a womb. Crack open the sky when they see His face. All shall mourn, man. All right, the birth of Yahweh Shai coming into this earth to colonize this world is going to be something, hey, amazing, man, through the Spirit. That's a birth we want to see. We want to see the birth of a nation, as we just read in Isaiah 66:10. Well, 6:6-10. The birth of a nation in a moment. He's talking about us. We're being birthed into the reality that we Israelites, and we're being birthed into the reality of the kingdom that's coming soon, man. But in the midst of that birth, there's birth pains, anguish, sorrow, all the stuff that you feel, whether in your spirit or in your flesh, man. You feel it both. You got demons in the spirit world attacking you. You got demons in the physical world attacking you, right? You got mental breakdowns. You got tribulation upon tribulation, right? But the Lord, through Paul and Peter, He said, man, hey, through much tribulation, we shall enter to the kingdom of heaven, man. Hey, He put in the spirit of Peter to say, hey, think it's not strange when you're going through fiery trials, man. Birth pains are in the midst of us. So let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Right? Because the Lord, He has to speed up time for the elect's sake, as we read in the scriptures. These prophecies equate to time. These are the times that we're in where the prophecies are going to start speeding up, man. So we shouldn't be scared, shouldn't be faint-hearted, shouldn't be nervous, right? We should be excited because our Lord is coming, our black Messiah, man. For those that hate the color lines, man. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, these are the real biblical Israelites, and a black Messiah is coming who ain't black but a Jew. But that's a label that you put on so-called Negroes to dehumanize them, man. As you good at. This is book of Matthew chapter 4. Matthew 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, man. Right? So for the elect's sake, all these days is being shortened. I mean, look how fast the day's been moving. Time moved very quick. All right, time moved very fast through the Spirit, man. And we see that. The Lord is speeding time up for the elect's sake because no flesh will survive. The effects, imagine the effects if the Lord don't speed up these prophecies, man, and save the remnant, the elect. What are some of the bad effects of leaving us here while wickedness increase all over the planet, man? Right? Let's go to the book of Romans. Let's see. We see it today. Right? These are all prophecies that we're looking at today. If we have spiritual eyes to see. Let's go to the book of Romans chapter 9. Right? It's the book of Romans chapter 9. And let's go to 2022. It's the book of Romans chapter 9. Well, no, let's go straight to the point. It's the book of Romans chapter 9, 28 and 29. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth, right? So the Lord, as we just read, is speeding up time through the midst of the prophecies. Prophecies are coming off the page and walking amongst us to encourage us. For those that have spiritual eyes to see what's going on, man. Birth pains we are in the stage of. He says he's going to shorten time. He just said right here, the work, he's going to shorten the work in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. 29. And as Isaiah said before, this is one of the reasons why the Most High must speed time up pertaining to the prophecies. Right? 29. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed. What's that? The remnant, the descendants of Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says, and as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we have been as Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah. And that's a heavy statement, man. That's a heavy statement, being that we see a majority of our population, whether black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, in full-fledged homosexual activity, man. And flaunting it, man. Flossing it, man. As though it's a real thing, man. We see that today. There's more black Hispanics. Northern Kingdom got snatched up by that same spirit, you know, and they kind of use Southern Kingdom to push it, because they use Judah to push things to influence the other tribes and the world, you know. So they pervert our minds, and they use, you know, and benefit off our influence. You know what I'm saying? Give me influence and I'll make you famous. That's what the devil do. Who are the devil? The small hats. Who the devil? The Edomites, man. That offer these things to our people to defile our people and defile the world in the midst of it through our influence, man. But we see that if the Lord didn't preserve a seed, which is the elect, that he's going to shorten time for. If the Lord did not preserve the seed, and we all will be like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Whether we be turned, in other words, we'll be turned into Sodom, and basically saying the whole house will be turned into Sodom and Gomorrah. Whether it's in all the dysfunction like we see. Imagine how much dysfunction it was in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Or the gay agenda pressed upon our people, and unseemly things that they do, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. All the way to the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, which will happen. And who got saved out of that situation? Lot and his 2 daughters, man. That's the remnant that shall be saved when he shortens the time through the spirit of Mashiach Yahushua, man. All praises. All right, last precepts. Let's go to real fast. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Right, I'm gonna look that up. Matter of fact, well, I'll just repeat it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, 11 and 15. Right. Matter of fact, let me go there because it's so mighty. Let's go there real quick through the spirit. I don't want to leave that alone, man. Let's bring it all the way out. Let's bring it all the way out, man, because the Most High is stirring the pot up. And all praises because of it. He ain't playing. Look, he hit the devil right in his mouth, right in his throat, Salaki. right? Where the authority of your words come out. And the Most High ain't playing with their body, man. Whether it's an Israelite, whether it's a damn Edomite, if you uncircumcised in the spirit, he about to come up and deal with you, man. But nevertheless, he got to deal with his heathens, with these heathens out here that's been you know, controlling the narrative that, you know, we ain't ish. SHIT, man. They've been controlling that narrative to keep that in the forefront that our people ain't SHIT. All right? And that's a lie, man. And the Lord gonna get up with you for you lying, man. All right, so let's get it, man. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, and let's start at verse 11 through the Spirit. He says, or do I want to go further down? Let's see. Yeah, let's start at 10. It says, there was one who pleased God and was loved by him, and while living among sinners was taken away. Now, who was that? According to the Bible, Enoch, right? Enoch was taken away amongst the sinners because he pleased the Lord. But we can equate that in the spirit to the saints today, man. All right, the Lord's going to take up a certain amount of the remnant of the elect. He's going to take them up, and they're going to be caught up in so-called UFOs, which are the chariots of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Let's continue. Verse 11, he was caught up so that evil might not change his understanding or deceive his soul, man. So why was the man that pleased the Lord, who was Enoch, caught up in the skies? So his understanding, so the evil might not change his understanding or beguile his soul, man. Right? And that's going into the prevention, the minds, the Lord basically had to speed up time to prevent the minds of the saints from being altered to wickedness, man. I mean, how many brothers we see that fall all the time, man, from the mighty to the young, right? You know, the longer we stay here, the longer our understanding will be altered if the Most High ain't stirring your spirit up, and if you're not going and doing this work of righteousness, man. Your understanding will be altered because we're surrounded by evil, right? Look at the book of, let's go to Psalms real quick. Psalms chapter 12 through the Spirit. We're surrounded by evil, man. You can get altered. It's not that hard not to get altered when you're surrounded by something. If you put, like for instance, when they put so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in you know, low level places, areas like projects and ghettos, you know, that atmosphere changed the nature of their spirit to make them be more on a survival level, which will cause violence and things of that nature by way of desperation of survival, rather than you put somebody in a nicer, more, you know, more safer environment. That'll be a different case, man. You have a different spirit on you. I was at the beach not too long ago. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, man, imagine all our people just walking amongst, because it was mountains and it was houses up there. And then we got to go down the hill, and it's a peaceful beach, a little section. Nobody was at. And I just thought about it, like Jerusalem, you know, the Sea of Galilee and all that. Imagine our people in the midst of our land, and we just walking. We at the beach. We doing all this stuff. It's a peaceful environment, and the Lord got his hand of favor over us. Hey, man, we're not going to be on no ghetto time, man. We're not going to be on, I hate this dude. You know, we're not going to be on that time because the atmosphere is different. The atmosphere here is not different. It's defiled, man. Right? So look at this. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. Help, Lord, for the godly man cease, for the faithful fails from among the children of men. They speak vanity everyone with his neighbor, right? You got everyone want to be a thought. All right, everyone want to be the highest level of a so-called queen. You got every brother want to be a damn demon. Man, they got quotes like demon time. What the hell is that? What about angel time? What about the Lord's time, man? Right? They made demonic cool. It's cool to be demonic. It's cool to be a sodomite. Right? That's why you can't follow the culture of the earth, man. In the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. All right, it says, they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with the flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaks proud things. Right? So when we get into this scripture right here, we see that the Lord must speed time up, according to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, 11 on down, must speed the time up as he did in the times of Enoch, that the evil might not change or alter our understanding, or beguile, deceive his soul. For the fascination of wickedness obscures what is good, and roving desire prevents the innocent mind. Right? You don't have an innocent mind amongst the defiled, but it's only through us fighting this flesh, us staying in the spirit, us walking in the spirit, according to Galatians chapter 5, 16 on down. This keeps our spirit from preventing our mind to be altered into wickedness. Let's keep going. Being perfected in a short time, he fulfilled long years. Right? And that's those of the elect, man. And just think about this truth itself. This truth is very young, but old at the same time. It's old because it's our forefathers, but it's young because it's in here. It's been revealed to us in Babylon, and I mean, we can only go so far back up into the 60s, where it's really being pressed by some of the elders. That's a short time compared to Christianity doctrine, 1,000-year-old doctrine, but yet the Lord put it in our spirit to fulfill a short time and perfect ourselves in the scriptures, to where you got brothers confounding 1,000-year-old doctrine that's been on the earth with scholars, with liars of scholars, with scribes, with everything they need to keep the lie going. And now we unraveling that lie with men that came from the streets. Being perfected in a short time, he fulfills long years. For his soul was pleasing to the Lord. Therefore he hastened him from the midst of wickedness. Yet the people saw and did not understand, or take such thing to heart, that God's grace and mercy are with his elect, and that he watches over his holy ones, man. Hey, man, you got to give the Lord praise for that, man. And we could be out here bugged the hell out, but the Most High keep our spirits, man. You got to pray that you ain't got mental illness out here. When you're looking at everybody around you with some type of form of mental illness, right? You got the peace of Yahweh Shemashah that covers your mind from going crazy out here, from all the stuff that your eyes have witnessed. That's the beauty of the Lord to his servants, man. So let's get on to this video real quick through the spirit, man.
With Israel stand? Where does the United States relationship with Israel stand after Israel tried to obliterate Hamas's negotiating team inside the bustling capital city of Doha, Qatar, while working on U.S.-backed efforts to end the war in Gaza?
So we got the devil, Benjamin Yanadaju, sent some jets over there, some war jets over there in Doha, right? Which is in the Middle East. And they had negotiators over there, which, they know. These cats know a lot of information of things that goes on. So they caused this situation. Now, here's the thing. We always gotta see The devil works in many different ways to keep people distracted on one thing, right? This is actually a big thing that's being kind of, ignored, and it's not on the press as much because of some other big thing that override that, right? Think about this, man. Think about this. All right, so we know that this so-called, I ain't gonna say so-called, it was real. The assassination of the devil. We ain't gonna say his name. All right, assassination of the devil override social media and the news and everything else, right? But they ignored this though. Look, this right here, what happened in this place right here will cause a World War III to happen. Trump didn't notice, so-called. Trump didn't notice that this was happening, or that those strikes was sent over there in that specific area. Now, the reason why it's even worse than what's being said is because the people that was there, these were all negotiators who, speaking of negotiating with America again and kind of, restoring some of their relationships with them because of when Trump came over there to the Middle East, they kind of gave him and blessed him with a lot of gifts, stuff, and things of that nature, and they came with some negotiations. Now you had negotiations from different, potentially different Arab countries coming into this area to negotiate, and here come Lil Satan. All right, the small hat gang went over there and bombed that specific area. Now this will cause a domino effect, but because something else happened that's way bigger in the sight of, social media, I guess, that override the situation at hand. See that? So you don't find that suspicious? Let's keep going though.
And Trump said this afternoon he feels, quote, very badly that the strike happened in the city of Doha. He noted he did not make the decision to strike. Qatar has been...
He did not make the decision to strike. Right? Look, man. There's a lot of decoys and different strategies being set up to make you look at one thing rather than the other. All right? And we're going to touch on that through the Spirit of the Lord. Let's go.
A key player in the negotiations for a hostage and ceasefire deal, a version of which was accepted by Hamas on August 18th. Israel says the attack involved more than 10 fighter jets and was, quote, months in the making, but was sped up in recent weeks, according to Israeli sources. People in Qatar's biggest city, Doha, ran from the blasts, which targeted housing for several members of the Hamas political bureau. Qatar's prime minister says it was, quote, state terrorism, while Hamas says the strike killed 5 of its members, but did not take out the negotiating delegation. The chief negotiator, Khalil al-Hayya.
Just the fact that you shot at the negotiators and people in that realm, hey, that's an act of war. Like Israel and America, they have done many they have done many attacks that will cause an act of war. But an act of war, potentially didn't come yet. Why? Because the Most High is holding back the winds, according to Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. As much as these different nations really thirsty for the blood and head of Satan, of little Satan and big Satan, y'all know what I'm talking about, Babylon the Great and the synagogue of Satan, want their head so bad, but yet they don't do nothing. It's because the angels of the Lord are holding back the winds until a specific event happens. Right? Let's get that real quick. It's the book of Revelations, chapter 7. Yeah, they try to ignore this, man. This was big for like 5 minutes. This happened the day before the assassination happened. You don't find that suspicious? Let's go to Revelation chapter 7 real quick. It's the book of Revelations chapter 7 and verse 1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth. That wind is predicated to warfare, as the brothers know, nuclear warheads, right? A nuclear war. Holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Yahweh, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Yahweh in their foreheads. Right? So nothing's going to happen until that specific time of the sealing of the elect, man, which we got into. The Lord speeding up time to seal the elect's sake, man, that they may survive through the spirit of Mashiach Yahushua.
Is still alive, but his son was killed along with a Qatari security official. CNN's Clarissa Ward is in London. Clarissa?
So, Jake, we're learning now, according to the Qataris, that President Trump actually made a phone call to Qatar's emir, expressing, in their words, strong solidarity and also issuing strong condemnation for this attack on sovereignty of Qatar. He went on to effectively say that Qatar is a strategic, trusted ally, and really urging, Jake, the Qataris to continue.
Now, this could go many different ways. This can go many different ways, because there's a pertaining to the situation that happened yesterday. There's some footage of men behind that individual, doing hand gestures before, that the actual event. Like, one dude, he was kind of adjusting his hat. And the other guy, he kind of hit his hand. All right. Now, could that be reaching? It could be. Could that be something? It could be. It goes either or on the coin. Heads or tails. Right? Now, let's say potentially that was the case. And it landed on heads, where this was actually, the guy that the guy that did it was obviously was a sniper. So let's say that this was more men involved than just that individual. That let's say the man behind him. We just throwing, because we throwing conspiracy theories right now. Conspiracy theories. Let's say the two men behind him that was doing them hand gestures, right before the hit, like seconds before the hit, right? Let's say all this is linked to this, and that this, in revenge of this, the government had to do a sacrificial lamb. Like I said, this all, because I'll just throw theories out there, man. Because everybody was involved, and it was according to, all right, y'all hit us this hard. If y'all don't hit, hit either small hats or your own people, then we going in, right? Hey, you don't know is what I'm saying, man. It can go any which way, man. Right? But let's keep going.
This pivotal role that they have been playing for quite some time now in terms of facilitating these talks. There's a little bit of a question mark as to what happens with the talks. We heard earlier from the Prime Minister of Qatar, who was also the Foreign Minister, who was visibly, really, Jake, angry and emotional during this press conference. He was not pulling any punches. He called it state terrorism. He had some choice words also for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calling him effectively barbaric. He did say that Qatar will continue its role in the region, but then he also made a...
Okay, so it was Qatar. All right, so it was Qatar. PM describes Israel's attack as state terrorism. Right? He's been terrorizing every nation in the Arab countries, man. And nobody's doing nothing about it. All right, nobody's putting this wild man down, this wild beast.
Comment saying nothing is valid after such an attack. And that's fueling suspicions that at least on a temporary basis, these talks appear to be dead in the water with all the potential fallout that entails, Jake.
And Clarissa, just before the strike, Israel ordered a full evacuation of Gaza City. Prime Minister Netanyahu says in the past 2 days, Israel has, quote, taken down 50 terrorist high-rises, unquote, there, and warned this is only the beginning. What is Israel's goal for Gaza City?
It is rumored thou hast hosted dining.
So, like, we can stop right there. All right, we can rest right there, man. Now, look at this. All right, so, this is the
look at your screen. These are two of the photos.
Well, y'all probably can't see this one, so hold on. Yeah, but, hey, man, like I said, this is what's going on in these last days, man. Wars, rumors of wars. So, like,
quote, taken down 50 terrorist high-rises, unquote, there, and warned this is only the beginning. What is Israel's goal for Gaza City?
Well, if you ask Israel, it will say its goal is to completely dismantle and destroy Hamas's capabilities and to bring back the hostages. If you talk to Palestinians or most other people in the region, they will say that this is the continuation of a genocide against the people of Gaza. I think one thing we can say very clearly is that this is not a step towards peace, rather the reverse. An estimated 100.
Now with the Palestinians, hey, even that itself is prophecy, because they're not supposed to be in that land. That's the Philistines' land, man. Right? So the Lord, he using the bastard that's in the land of the Jews to fight, and tear down and dismantle potentially that that race that came from the Arab race, man. Those are not There's not Philistines, man. Those are not the Philistines at all, our ancient enemies. Nobody in those areas are the actual biblical people. I mean, you got Ishmael and all them, but as far as in this specific area, All right, so let's go to Zechariah chapter 9 real quick. This is the book of Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. What's Ashdod? That's Tel Aviv. That's Jerusalem. And I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. The Philistines don't live there. Been gone out of those areas. So who is he talking about? He's talking about those that live in the Philistine areas. He will cut off their pride. Right? The bastard. Who's the bastard? The so-called small hat, man. The Jew. The so-called Jew. All right, but let's keep going.
Of thousands, possibly up to 1 million Palestinians who are living in Gaza City in the worst of conditions. This is where a famine has been declared. The leaflets that were handed out by the IDF urging people to go to the Mawasi humanitarian safe zone, as they call it. Well, you talk to any humanitarian or aid organization that's present in Mawasi, and they will tell you it is neither safe nor humane. Jake, just last week, 5 children were killed while they were lining up for water in Mawasi, Jake.
All right, Clarissa Ward in London, thank you so much.
Right, so there's a lot of stuff that a lot of stuff be going on predicated off these devils being so reckless that Babylon and other things that have to happen to keep the eyes off of Israel for some reason. I noticed that it's a pattern of that. But let me find something real quick through the Spirit. And then we're going to wind down through the Spirit, man. All right, real quick. Let me see here. Here we go.
You can expect a record number of credit. Okay, before we start live, we're live. Guys, gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you both.
So we're gonna peep out the seriousness of this situation. Now, this is the day before the assassination happened. Right? Everybody was on it. And then the assassination happened. Could that be a heavy decoy? Or could that just be, hey, the spirits of the Lord just going around, just causing chaos, which they are anyways. However it is, we're gonna trust Yahweh Shema Shai, and we're gonna look at all the patterns that these devils is doing, man. Let's keep going.
Alex Scott, under again pretty extraordinary circumstances. How are you guys?
Doing good, thanks.
Doing great, thank you.
So Alex, this is the first time we do a show together. Me and Scott have done a few shows under pretty crazy circumstances, like when the war started between Iran and Israel. That was a pretty surreal interview that we did. Alex, we've never done one of those, so this is the first time we do an interview right after something happened or while something was happening. So what is your initial response after we saw the strike? So for the audience, anyone that doesn't know, there's been an Israeli strike in Qatar, in Doha, the capital of Qatar, that targeted the negotiation team, the leadership team of Hamas. We don't know who survived, who didn't. We're getting multiple reports. And that was a day or two after Trump made a new peace proposal. So the Hamas leadership came together to discuss that proposal, decide how to respond. And then what Israel did is struck Hamas while they were having that discussion in Doha, which is Qatar, an ally of the United States. For me, when I looked at this, I would consider this more shocking than the war in Iran. I would have, a lot of us expected a war with Iran.
More shocking than Iran, the war with Iran. Like this wasn't no small matter, based upon the people that was over there and the agreement that they had with America, man. So this definitely wasn't no small thing.
But that's one I did not expect. But Alex, I'd love to get your initial response.
Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. Bad for the region. It's bad for. It looks bad for Israel. It looks really bad for the United States. But I guess when you take a step back, maybe it's not so much of a surprise. I mean, we've had the decapitation strikes in Iran. We had them in Yemen. We had them in Syria. They went after Syria. They went after the embassy there. And we had the same thing play out, as you said, Mario, in Iran, where Witkoff was supposed to be meeting with Arakchi, the foreign minister, on a Sunday or Monday. And on that Friday, we had the 12-day war begin. I believe Iran was caught a bit off guard with that, because they were expecting negotiations, a seventh round of negotiations with Witkoff, and these were technical talks. Scott can speak a lot better to what was unfolding there, but this is something that the U.S. seems to be doing more often now, and this is definitely a pattern that we're seeing with Israel. And of course, the reports are that this was greenlit by the Trump administration. I'm not 100% on that. These are the early reports that we're getting. We're also not exactly sure as to whether the negotiators survived or not. Keep in mind, these are negotiators. This is really, really bad, to go after the negotiating team, to go after them in Qatar. If the reports are true and the United States did green light this, then this is horrific. But we've been going down this road for a while now. These decapitation strikes, you can go all the way back to Soleimani. He was on an official diplomatic visit when I believe in Iraq, when he was assassinated. Unfortunately, this is becoming all too common. This is very, very bad news. Very bad development.
Yeah, and didn't that happen in Lebanon as well? Wasn't Israel proposing some sort of peace agreement, or they kind of lured the Hezbollah leadership to meet, and then they struck and they killed Nasrallah? I'm not sure if they did the same thing with Iran. They might have done the same thing as Scott. Maybe you can comment on that. That was a strategy done with Iran. I know with Yemen, the leadership was having, the cabinet was having a meeting. I don't know what they were discussing, and Israel struck them there. And now we're seeing the same thing in Qatar, which is, again, Qatar is very different to the other countries, because Qatar is an ally of the US. Qatar is not an ally of Hamas.
Qatar is an ally of US. Put emphasis on that one.
Not involved in this war. Iran is involved in this war indirectly. Syria is indirectly involved in this war. You've got, or at least was indirectly involved in this war. Yemen is obviously involved in this war between Israel and Hamas. But we're talking about Qatar here, an ally of the US. Scott, your initial thoughts?
Perfidy is the term that comes to mind here. As an American who
is a beautiful baked foundation for mature skin, as well as her kabuki brush. All of it.
Mine here, as an American who, struggles to be proud of my country. I can't be proud of this. I can't be proud of literal murder, greenlighting murder. I mean, look, Israel, we know what Israel is. No one should be shocked by anything that Israel does, especially Israel under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu. These are people who, this is a nation, a government that commits acts of genocide openly, starving people to death, murdering children on a daily basis. So why are we shocked when they violate every norm and value? Because they already are violating every norm and value. The issue is the United States. I agree with Alex. We don't know 100% certain, did the U.S. greenlight this? But I will tell you what, I have a case right now that would be circumstantial in a court of law and I'd win. I have the head of Central Command flying to Israel, meeting with the head of the Israeli military, the chief of staff. I have the President of the United States issuing a demand to Hamas. This is your last chance, he said. You need to take this. This is your last chance. Hamas, apparently, when they saw the president, I think one of the comments was, this looks like it was written by Israel. Well, probably because it was. But they said, okay, we have to obey. We have to at least give this a shot. We would be irresponsible of us for not to meet. And they were invited by the Qatari leadership. They didn't just show up and get it on their own. They were invited by the Qatari leadership that said, come, let's begin this. Let's see what the president has to say. Let's talk about this. And so they were in Turkey and they flew to Qatar. All of this is trackable. Understand that there's timing involved in this as well. We're talking about 15 Israeli aircraft leaving Israeli airspace. How did they get to Qatar if the U.S. didn't greenlight it? They probably flew through Iraqi airspace, as they are wont to do. They did this repeatedly when they attacked Iran. And then they flew down the Gulf on a track that has them being picked up by American air defense resources. We had them in our radar from the moment. And apparently, as they approached Qatar, we shut down the air defense. We shut it down, which means they had a free shot in. We were involved.
The U.S. be involved? The U.S. loses a lot. Qatar is an ally. The Arab world's all condemning this attack. Qatar, Jordan, Saudi, UAE.
With all due respect, Qatar is not an ally.
I want y'all to peep this out, what he about to say right here. All right?
Because America doesn't have allies. Qatar is a subject nation. And Qatar understands that if they piss off the United States, excuse my language, we terminate their existence. I mean, this is the reality of how the entire Middle East relates to us. That anybody who's our ally isn't our ally because we will betray them, and we have betrayed them. But they don't have the ability to walk away from this. They are so deeply embedded in the United States, financially, security-wise. Qatar's not an ally. Because an ally, we wouldn't do this to an ally.
There you go right there, man. America ain't got no allies, man. Stop lying on the political realm, man. All right? So, real quick, I just want to pull this out. Matter of fact, I don't think you probably can't see this, so let me see what I can do. Well, I'll just read it. All right, so dealing with the individual that got assassinated, we gotta understand that this the same patterns that potentially the Roman Empire collapsed is the same pathway America is going into, right? I'm just gonna read this little statement because what I did. Let me see if I can pull it out. In fact, let me see real quick. Let's see. Wait. Okay. Well, I just put in the decline of ancient Rome were there assassinations, right? And I put yes. No, it says yes. Assassinations were a significant and frequent feature of the late Roman Republic and the subsequent empire. It says with figures like Julius Caesar and several emperors meeting violent ends. This trend was driven by factors including military dissatisfaction, political instability, economic hardship leading to troop and palace conspiracies. Right? So even in ancient Rome, when ancient Rome was declining, a lot of the stuff that America do abroad and you know, in their own country, it was the same way Rome fell, man. Just to show you, like, the assassination of this specific individual. There was a lot of political assassinations in ancient Rome before, you know, the ancient empire got destroyed by the you know, so-called barbarians and the heathens of, you know, that was opposed of the Roman Empire. It's the same thing, man. Right? Because this is the rebirth of Rome. This is the fourth beast, man. This is the feet of iron and clay. This is Rome. And Rome is being brought down. So yeah, I mean, this is just another situation that happened. Now, like I said, the situation we just seen is really far greater than that which will happen. But hey, it could be linked all together. Who knows? But ultimately, these are spirits of the Lord that has come upon the earth to fulfill all Bible prophecy according to the scriptures, man. This is why they're here, man. So let's get some scriptures on that, and then we're going to cut out through the spirit. And shalom to all the brothers, man, and sisters out there. Let's go to the book of Sirach real quick. All right, so these are all spirits, man. Spirits, whether it was that hitman on the roof that took that specific man out. And notice, he took him out right after he spoke of gang wars. He was just about to get into, you know, so-called blacks gang wars. And that's when he got, man. Not by a Jake, but by another Edomite. Right? Why? Because this situation that happened yesterday can potentially cause a civil war, man. Because it's dealing with politics. Right? It's over a political figure that got hit, made as a so-called martyr for the patriotic race and mindset. And because of that, that's going to inflate a civil war, man. That's going to cause a civil war. That was an act of a political. That was a political figure getting put down. And you got to think about it. Trump, not too long ago, he got as well. He got hit the same way, but he didn't get killed. You know, because you know, Most High got different plans for that individual. But these are all spirits. All right, let's touch on this, man. This is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Right? So so when the Most High send these spirits, whether evil spirits, angels, death angels, right, messengers, Whatever spirits the Lord is sending, he's sending them for specific things, man. So if a hitman is on a roof and nobody can see him, and he got his target, that was an heavenly angel sent forth to put it on that man's mind to do that in which to appease the wrath of him that made them. Right? Who made them? The Most High. Right? There was meetings in the spirit world before anything went down. Literally. My fat, let's pull that out. That's a good one. These are all angels, man. And these angels are working for our behalf too. Now, look, we ain't going to be simple either. The man was literally speaking his truth. All right? Now, there's only one truth, but everybody got their own opinions and their truth, and they shake their hand pertaining to their own doctrine and what they represent. He represented something. He became a martyr of that specific thing that he represented. Hey, but hey, don't get it twisted. That can happen to Israelite quick and a hurry, man. And not even on no disobedient stuff, man. Not even on no disobedient stuff at all. It can be just a martyr, man, for the truth. You know, imagine a Jake shaking a hand, and that happens to Jake. That's why we got to praise the Lord, man. Hey, we got to praise Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, because that can happen to us anytime, man. But the Most High got fiery angels surrounding us as we bring forth his message. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushua for that. Let's get it, though. This is 1 Kings chapter 22. There's meetings that goes on before things like this happens, man. Let's see here. Let's go to straight to the point. Let's start at 19. Micaiah continued, therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the multitudes of heaven standing around him on his right and on his left. Who is on his left? Those are evil spirits. So evil spirits even work with the Most High, man. Did not Satan went to the Lord about Job? There's always meetings going on. Decrees being sent out. And the angels, they go out and chase that word that's been decreed. Whether it was good for a person or whether it's bad for a person. He says, and the Lord said, who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth Gilead and going into his death there? One suggested this and another that, right? So they got different suggestions. What do you think about this, Father? What do you think about that, Father? Different scenarios that can set a Jake up or a heathen up. Finally, a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. By what means? The Lord asked. I will go out and be a deceiving spirit in the mouth of all his holy prophets. He said, you will succeed in enticing him, says the Lord. Go and do it. So now the Lord has put a deceiving spirit in the mouths of all these prophets of yours. The Lord has look at this. The Lord has decreed disaster for you, man. That's a mighty word right there, man. All right, so these is angels being sent out, chasing the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. One more scripture, and then we're going to cut out. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 109, or 103, Salaki, and verse 20. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 3, and verse 20. Bless the Lord, ye his angels, that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening to the voice of his word, right? The angels, they chase the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and fulfilled that which he spoke. They the ones that's putting that work in for the Lord, man. Whether it was a death angel, evil spirit, a holy angel, messenger, whether it's Michael and his legion of armies, whether it's Gabriel, messengers and their legion of armies, Ariel, Ariel, all these different angels that, some of the scriptures speak of, and the ones that we don't know, the four beasts, right? These angels all got different missions. And one of their missions outside of, delivering message is destruction, right? Then the book of Revelation says that a frog is going to be coming out of the Euphrates River, right? That's a spirit. That's a war spirit that's hopping all over the place like frogs, man. Spirit of war just hopping in that area, right? Look at the small hats. Look at Benjamin, you're not a Jew, man. They hopping from one area to the next like frogs, man. These are wicked spirits that's on these men to fulfill the Most High's will. Let's deal with one more verse through the Spirit. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 11. Let's go to the King James. It says, an evil man seeks only rebellion. Therefore, a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. There you go right there, man. And not only men that rebel, but hey, even cruel messengers will be sent to those that follow the commandments, man. All right? Just because evil messengers are sent to you don't mean that you in wickedness either, man. Hey, didn't Paul have an evil messenger? Let's put that out, matter of fact. And he had evil messenger because of the revelations that the Most High gave him to keep him in balance, or in a balance, right? Because, a just balance is the Lord's delight. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12. And let's go to Salaki. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure, right? So Lord, he even sent evil spirits to even the saints of the Most High, to keep them on their toes, man. Right? Because that'll forbid you to be a perpetual sinner, man. It will teach you how to remain humble. Right? So we all got different battles and fights we got to go through, but we want to fight in righteousness rather than wickedness, man. So these are evil spirits and angels that's been sent out to cause chaos, destruction upon the earth, pursuant to the prophecies, so the time can be sped up according to prophecies, that the elect may be saved. Lord willing, we are that number. So with that, man, call Allah Bashim Yahushua. Y'all have a mighty rest of your day through the Spirit. Shalom, shalom. Stay in the Spirit. Prophecies is here. No need to back down.